I'm looking forward to this daily, but there's going to be a lot of hate afterwards. Oh, Matt, you're so biased, talking about Spurs winning, blah, blah, blah. All I do is mention that Spurs won, and people are like, you suck! Spurs edge past Manchester City. Liverpool take control over Porto. Jovic makes Barcelona wait. We've got a roundup of the day's transfer rumours, and of course, we have this week's great debate. That and more coming up in the next few minutes, as I'm your host, Matt Fodick. You are the One Footballers, and this is the Daily News. First off, and to the UEFA Champions League action from last night, and to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs beat Manchester City 1-0 in what is a finely poised tie, heading back to the Etihad next Wednesday. Now, there are so many talking points from the game, so let's try and rattle through them. First off, and it was a correct penalty decision against Danny Rose, from which Sergio Aguero missed. His arm was up, and although Spurs fans were a bit annoyed and it had to go to VAR and all that malarkey, they did get the decision right in the end, as Rose's arm was up. Having said that, a good penalty save from Hugo Lloris, and Sergio Aguero never really recovered from that and didn't actually help Manchester City in their attacking game. Having Gundogan and Fernandinho in the midfield for Manchester City made them rather defensive, and Fernandinho was lucky to escape without a VAR review for his elbow on the back of Harry Kane's head. Moving on to the rest of the game though, and after Harry Kane limped off with what Mauricio Pochettino has described could be a season ender for the English striker, Heung-min Son managed to bag the only goal of the game and give Tottenham a slender lead. For those of you asking about the offside, Heung-min Son was not offside because his arm is something that you cannot score with. Those are the rules. If it's something you can score with, then he would have been offside. His arm was off, but that doesn't count. As for the ball going out, it clearly didn't as well. So for all of you who are nitpicking and looking for a way to discredit Spurs on a great victory, unfortunately, it's not going to happen. They played brilliantly and fully deserved the 1-0 win. On to the night's other game though, and Liverpool took control over Porto by winning 2-0 on what turned out to be a rather routine win. Naby Keita and Roberto Firmino managed to bag some first half goals, but as for Porto, well, they look pretty poor, especially striker Marega, who missed two gilt-edged chances to give his side at least an away goal and a chance of doing something in the second leg. Now, I just can't see that happening. As for Liverpool, well, Mo Salah looked lucky to escape a red card after what appeared to be stamping on the shin of Danilo. It's a good job that Danilo is a proper hard nut and didn't make too much of it. As for why it didn't get reviewed on VAR, well, nobody seems to know at the moment, and the same can be said for Trent Alexander-Arnold's handball. The handball decision didn't go to VAR either. However, having looked at it on a few replays, I think it would have been very harsh, as Alisson literally pushes it into his arm beforehand and he's like a yard away. And another quick stat from last night's Liverpool game, Roberto Firmino now has been involved in 20 Champions League goals since the start of last season. Only Cristiano Ronaldo has been involved in more with 24. That's 12 goals and 8 assists for Firmino, and he is a fantastic striker and could be helping Liverpool to back-to-back finals. But next up, and to some transfer news, and it involves Barcelona, who are currently preparing for their Champions League match against Manchester United with their informed striker Luis Suarez. And this transfer news concerns his replacement, Luka Jovic. Much has been said about the Frankfurt striker this season, and apparently he'd already agreed to move to Barcelona. However, sources close to the player have now said that he wants to wait one more season before making the move because he wants to play Champions League football with his current club, Frankfurt. They currently sit 4 points inside the Champions League spaces in the Bundesliga, and it looks like he's going to make the men at the new camp wait. However, this could turn out either good or bad for both the club and the player. If Jovic has a pretty bad season next year, well, then they might not even want him anymore, and he could have missed his opportunity at a move to the big time. However, if he plays really well, Barcelona may end up having to pay even more than they're going to have to at the end of this season. Surely the best deal for both parties will be to agree a deal this summer. He can stay one more year at Frankfurt and then move to Barcelona full time. The reason behind all this is that he doesn't want to play back up to Luis Suarez, and I kind of get it. When you're at a young age, playing games, scoring goals, the last thing you want to do is make a move and then just sit back on the bench. And next up, to a roundup of the day's transfer news, which involves some players and some new managers. First off, Antonio Conte has said that he would be delighted to take over the job at Inter Milan should Luciano Spalletti leave, but only if he is made the highest paid manager in Serie A. Elsewhere, and Chelsea are refusing to budge on their £100 million asking price for Eden Hazard. Atletico Madrid are hoping to announce a new deal for their goalkeeper Jan Oblak with a release clause at €100 million. And finally, Manchester United could activate the release clause in Toby Alderweireld's contract with a £25 million bid for the Spurs defender. So lastly but not least, we come to this week's great debate because it's Wednesday. For those of you guys new around here and don't quite know what's going on, well, our friends in the Onefootball newsroom have put together a question for you guys to answer, and you can also head over to the Onefootball app to check out their answers and mine in there as well. But from you guys. I want to hear, what is the greatest Champions League upset of all time? Now, I'm not talking about comebacks. We spoke about this a few weeks ago. So for those of you asking about Liverpool and Istanbul or Barcelona against PSG, it's not a comeback. It's more of just an upset, something you didn't expect from a one-off game. So with that said and done, my upset comes from Barcelona losing at home to Rubin Kazan. Back in 2009, Pep Guardiola's men will go on to win all 6 trophies that they competed in the calendar year. However, during the group stage, they managed to lose at home to the Russians, who were competing in their first ever group stage, and managed to get their first ever victory with a 2-1 win. This Barcelona team did contain the likes of Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, Piqué, Dani Alves, Victor Valdez, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who actually scored the goal. So there you have it. There's my big upset from the Champions League. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, as well as all of your thoughts on the daily news. Do you reckon any of the transfer rumours will happen? Will Luka Jovic move to Barcelona next summer? And what do you make of the second ties between Liverpool, Porto and Tottenham against Manchester City? How will they do without Harry Kane? Whilst you're down there, you can also smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos that we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.